Okay, now I'm going to work on this side, but I don't want to stretch it so that it falls over. So I'm using a what's it called? So I'm stretching, but I'm trying not to lose my marks on the outside. What is starting to show is how the object is starting to get movement. Now we started out from a very tall piece, and we're now actually stretching the clay into something like this. Now what the lines are doing, you can see the difference. I'll try to rotate. We can see two different kind of lines. And here are the lines that were cut with the wire. And these are the lines that were made with a spachtel. So these are more wavy, and these are more a clean cut. Now at this point, if I want to have more control, I start using my fist. And again, I'm using this to stretch. And here you can see how slowly I'm getting a form. Now I have to decide when I want to stop. I have to decide where I might want to expand. Now here I got something really nice. Because of the stretching, I got a hole. These are things that I like very much. These things that happen that are sort of giving even more looseness and an organic feeling. Now I might want to stop here. What will come next at this point, normally, if I've decided that this is about as far as I go, I will let the object dry a day, let's say. But in order to demonstrate, I'm showing you now how I'm using the tools in order to reveal. First of all, I will want to clean up the inside. Maybe you want to see how I'm cleaning up the inside. It means I'm revealing now, inside I'm revealing the lines that we have made when we included the porcelain and now this is meant to clean up the inside, to shape it, to make the contrast of the clean versus the very moving and expressive outside. It is both for that and both for revealing what has happened, which of course we had no control over, where these lines are going to be seated. And that's very exciting because it adds to the movement of the whole object to see how these lines, just like in nature, where you don't know where the sediment settled, it'll reveal itself over many centuries. And here we're not revealing it over centuries, we're revealing it pretty fast. And this is done normally slowly and carefully, and we can really see interesting things happening. Now let's go back to the outside again, maybe just see what happened on each side. How we these lines, we have lines, we have color. And now we want to reveal this color on the outside as well. And we will do this very slowly when the clay is drier. Right now it is only in order to show how slowly we will find what this clay has done on the outside. And we see how the clay goes from the inside to the outside. And we'll very carefully go over it, because we don't want to, where there isn't any difference in color, we certainly don't want to touch the surface, because we don't want to lose the marks, the stretch marks, the natural stretch marks which we have incurred. So this will be done very slowly, going around the pot and just seeing what has happened. This will be done with different turning tools. And so forth. We'll clean it up very slowly, and the lines will reveal themselves. Sometimes they're just on the surface, like a smudge, and they will disappear if we clean it up, and sometimes they will reveal that they go on. So this is the idea of what's happening here. This is a slow process, very slow process to see also where we want to keep the lines, the natural lines, where we might want to obliterate them with black clay in order to have some kind of a more some kind of a better flow. Not always the natural flow is the best, but we're going with the natural flow. But we might decide that for artistic reasons, at some particular point, it would have been better for it not to show, especially if it's not a clear-cut line. Now the line also changes depending on how deep we go. And we don't know. It's a it's not in our decision. Every movement we do of taking off clay, we also change this pattern. So at this point, there's something interesting that happened. The object collapsed onto the bat on one side, which actually gives the piece a movement that is very interesting. It's like the piece fell over like a big tectonic layer that just somehow collapsed. Now, if we look from the front, a little bit lower down, now we can see the collapse. What also will happen is that at this point I will look for a tool that you use in hand building. Well, actually, I will use any tool that will do what I want it to do, which is, at this point, the decision making is going to the bottom, because now I have a very nice flow, and now I have to see how does that relate to the bottom. Now in this case, don't like the bottom to be so sort of heavy. I will try to integrate the bottom more into the piece. That means if I have a movement in the piece, I want to enhance this. I'll see what exactly do I want to do. I want to lift it. Here it is going down, and here I might want to actually lift the piece, give it a different angle. So it is interesting to me to preserve in some ways, the memory of the fact that I started from a square, and in my bases, you see, I just sort of curved this, so I curved this so I can repeat the curves that I had here. Now, by taking all of this away, I sort of lift the piece. The piece is sort of going to be like on a base, on its own base. So I will put a lot of attention to the undercuts. But in order to work on the undercut, I have to work in stages, because right now the clay is wet and I don't want the piece to collapse further. I have to be careful to find the right time that the piece is dry enough, or at least not as wet as it was. I might decide at this point also that I need more, more coming out here, that maybe that wasn't enough, that maybe here, if I look at this side, I needed more movement. So I will stretch still a little further with this tool. something which is not too edgy. It has given me more of a movement here. And slowly, as I started, slowly, over 1, 2, 3 days, just to clean up the piece, clean up these inclusions, clean up the lines, see how to enhance the movement of that piece. But this is basically what's happening, and that's it. טוב, עשינו זאת.